Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing the Russell Crowe thriller, Unhinged. This movie, I will say this, had it not been for COVID, we probably wouldn't have heard of this film. This probably would have been a film that would have been like a straight to DVD, kind of like how Force of Nature was earlier this year with Mel Gibson. I don't think this movie would have gotten the popularity or the basically any kind of news coverage that it did had it not been for COVID, because this wanted to be, when COVID all happened, all the movies shut down, everything like that, this movie came out and said, we're going to be the first movie that comes out before, when COVID opens up the theaters. And yes, it was. And I think that because of that, that got the right kind of advertisements and the right kind of endorsements and the right kind of people putting eyes on a film like this that frankly would have never gotten any of that prior to COVID. So with Unhinged, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this movie. The concept of it just seemed a little over the top for me personally. But I like Russell Crowe, and because, like I said, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do, because it had been so long since I had been in a movie theater since March, first week of March, actually. I went out of my way to go and check out Unhinged because I just needed to be in a movie theater. I needed to see a movie in the movie theater. And so I went and checked out Unhinged. And so it did its job. It got me in the theater to watch it because I wanted to be in a movie theater so badly. So let's go ahead and jump into the review of Unhinged and see exactly what I thought of the film. The plot of Unhinged is pretty simple. It's pretty basic. After a confrontation with an unstable man at an intersection, a woman becomes a target of his rage. Yes, that is pretty much Unhinged in a nutshell. The man, which I think at one point in the movie he calls himself Tom Cooper. We don't know if that's his real name. That's just the name he gives at one point of the film. Is played by Russell Crowe. This man is just gotten out of a marriage. He just lost his job. And he is finally kind of snapped. This guy's very unstable, I guess, or unhinged, if you want to call it, since that's the title of the film. And he is just kind of out there doing whatever the hell he wants. He's going to attack. He's going to kill. He's going to basically do whatever he needs or wants to do. He doesn't care who's watching. He doesn't care who witnesses it. He doesn't care if the cops kill him. He's just going to go out there and just do what he wants to do. And in the beginning of the film, we see him do one of these things. And then, of course, our main character, Rachel, played by Karen Pistorius. I personally haven't seen her in anything prior to this film. And her son, Kyle, played by Gabriel Bateman. Many people know from last year's Child's Play. He played Andy. They are trying to get to school, and they are one of the unlucky people who are behind the man, or Tom, played by Russell Crowe. And, of course, Rachel's having a very bad day. She's going through a divorce. She just lost a client, and a bunch of other things. She honks her horn a little too loudly, thus starting one of the worst days of her life. She refuses to apologize to Russell Crowe's The Man, and thus he vows that she will have the worst day of her life, and chaos ensues the rest of the way. Look, I will say this about Unhinged. If you want a movie that is going to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat with thrills and suspense and has some very good car accident shots that make you go, oh, then Unhinged is the movie for you. It definitely does its job when it comes to that. But let's put it this way. The movie Unhinged should not be called Unhinged. It should be called, how many stupid things can a person do? Let's find out. Because that's what this movie is. This movie is just about horrible, stupid decisions done by the main character, done by characters around the main character. It's just every 5 minutes there's a point where I'm sitting in the movie going, why would you do that? Or you should be doing this. Why? Go do this right now. And then 5 minutes later, oh, I'll go do it. Well, it's too late for you to go do that now. There's so many points in this film where the plot of the story could have stopped based on common sense. And you could use oh, well, she was rattled, or she's being chased, or she's doing all this and she's not thinking clearly. I don't care. There's so many bonehead, stupid decisions that are made throughout this movie that it's just unbearable to watch at certain points, because 90% of this film wouldn't have happened if they just would have thought things out. The other thing is, too, they try... I will say the closest thing to this is like Phone Booth, the movie Phone Booth with Colin Farrell and Kiefer Sutherland, who I actually really love that film, where they're trying to talk about how people are so hooked up on technology that they're not paying attention to the world around them and all this kind of stuff. And they kind of start by doing almost like a PSA at the beginning of the movie about how people are so focused on their phones that they think they can multitask and do, like, drive a car while on their phone or doing these other things, which leads to road rage. First off, I don't need a damn PSA to tell me about road rage to know what road rage is. And you don't need that for a movie like this. There's parts in the movie where literally there's a big scene happening and they walk past a TV and the TV's talking about road rage. Why? Just why? There's no need for that. Like, there's a point of trying to get the message across, and there's a point of, like, hitting it right on the nose, and there's a point of punching you right in the nose with the message you're trying to tell here. And this movie was trying to bash your face through the screen about road rage. This isn't about road rage. This is about a guy who literally everything went wrong in his life and he officially snapped, and he decided just because someone honked at him to make an example out of him. It had nothing to do with road rage. It had to do with an unstable man who decided to finally just do whatever the hell he wanted to do and basically played Grand Theft Auto, the real life game, and chose, because of a horn honk, to do it to this woman as well. It has nothing to do with road rage. Road rage would have been like if he was an average good guy and all this stuff, and then something happened on the car ride that caused him to snap. He was already gone before the whole honking of the horn had happened. So trying to make road rage this huge big deal is kind of BS. Two, they try to make it an example of saying that all these cops lost their jobs and all this stuff like that to basically tell you why cops are worthless in this film. But I'm sorry. There's so much crap happening in this film between murdering, car crashes, stuff like that. There are barely any cops in this movie. Is there like 10 cops in this entire city? This is one of the things that was just driving me insane. It's like, where are all the police officers? Even if 50% of the police force had gotten fired in this town, you would have had sheriffs. You would have had other people there to kind of govern the city that these characters had lived in, instead of it just being free reign to do whatever you want. At one point in the film, this guy kills somebody in the middle of a diner in front of 50 people. No one does anything. No one calls 911. They pull out their cell phones and they record the incident happening. Yes, that's probably very real life. But no one gets his license plate. No one tries to stop him. No one tries to do anything like that. I call BS on that. This film, like I said, it was frustrating on how stupid everything was. The characters' decisions were stupid. The people around the characters were stupid. Anyone with half a brain could come up with ways to stop this scenario from continuing throughout the film, and they just didn't, because the plot chose for the characters to be stupid. The plot made these characters to be stupid. And then finally, when they had to get to the end of the film, that's when they decided, let's make these characters smart and be clever. There's a super, super long car ride at the beginning of the film that goes way too long between Rachel and her son Kyle, and all that whole conversation is doing is just leaving little like breadcrumbs to help you throughout the rest of the film. Oh, she couldn't find this. That's going to be important later. Oh, she didn't do this. That's going to be important later. He brings up this. That's going to be important later. When you have to do that to literally sell your movie, that's a bad script. That's something that's not going to help the film overall. And that's something that is basically showing poor, lazy writing, that you have to basically tell everything in a car ride. So when you go to that part of the film, you go, oh, that's right, they talked about that in the car. It's just, it's lazy writing overall. Now, in terms of the performances, everyone who performed in the film did a solid job. Karen Pistorius. I'm sorry, I'm saying her last name wrong. As Rachel, she did a really solid job. I actually really liked her performance in the film overall. Gabriel Bateman as Kyle. I think that kid's actually got a lot of potential. I really liked him in Child's Play. I liked him in this. The rest of the cast outside of those two and Russell Crowe are kind of inconsequential. Jimmy Simpson, who I love in a lot of things, he's got a small part in the film. He's solid in his scene, but I mean, it's not enough for anything to really grab a hold to. And then, of course, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe he's having fun, but he's also talking like he's got a really bad overbite or underbite the whole time. Because there's so many times, and if you guys watch the trailer and you actually listen to him talk, he's talking like he's got something like this the whole time. And it's just like, why are you talking like that, dude? Like, you're talking like you're trying to grit your teeth through growls to get your dialect through, and it just sounds more like growling than anything else. So your dialogue's not coming through. Nonetheless, Russell Crowe does a really good job being this crazy MFer who wants to make Rachel's life a living hell for that one day. But just the motivations for everything are just kind of all over the place. The police are beyond stupid in this film, along with Rachel and everyone else in the film overall. But like I said, if you want a thriller with suspense that keeps you on the edge of your seat, has some great car chase action sequences that make you go, oh, this movie does that for you. It does. I know I bashed the hell out of this movie quite a bit because it really irked me on the points. When something really irks me, I really drive it home. But I have to tell that this movie at least did its job. Did it keep me engaged the whole way through? Did it keep me on the edge of my seat all the way through? Outside of me, my brain just, if you shut your brain off and you just watch this movie, you're going to love it. If you have common sense and you're continually just going, well, that wouldn't happen, or your character's stupid, then you're going to have a hard time making it through this movie. But if you can shut your brain off and watch this movie and not try to overthink everything that's happening, you will actually quite enjoy Unhinged. So going to overall thoughts, if you want to watch a suspenseful thriller about a crazed lunatic trying to go after a woman, and it's played by Russell Crowe, and you're a fan of Russell Crowe, I can recommend Unhinged for you. If you're looking for a film that's smart and isn't going to drive you crazy with the stupidity of the characters' decisions, I cannot recommend Unhinged for you because it's going to drive you insane like it did me. But in terms of suspense, thriller, stuff like that, in terms of what's all in the theaters currently up until we get Tenet next week, Unhinged is going to do that job for you. It's only 90 minutes long. It does not overstay its welcome. So going into my overall score, because of it being able to do its job, but also in driving me insane with its stupidity, I'm going to give Unhinged a 5.9 out of 10 because, like I said, it did a good job. It kept me in the edge of my seat the whole way through, even though it drove me nuts. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on the channel's Movie Crusades. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we've got Bill and Ted Face the Music, the third film to the trilogy that's, wow, 30 years ago? Yikes. Yeah, so do a yellow for that review there, and until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.